If your company is sued, that complaint will be delivered to the registered agent, and the registered agent is tasked with getting that to the actual owners of the company. So it's a statutory requirement that you name a registered agent, and that person can accept service of process on behalf of your company. So who can be the registered agent? It varies from state to state, but there's going to be a number of things. The most important is going to be a person who's 18 years or older and can accept service of process, right? So they can answer the door is pretty much it. Now, that's the absolute minimum, and that's not what we recommend. It could also be that you use the company as its own registered agent. It can put down the company address, and service of process can be delivered to the company's door. That is acceptable as registered agent. And then the other option is going to be that you have some professional do it for you. A professional registered agent service typically is going to be a business entity that's registered and recognized by the state to be a registered agent. And they have certain requirements, and there's certain things they must do in order to be qualified as a commercial registered agent. And then the last option is you can have someone like your lawyer or accountant be your registered agent for you. So we'll talk about the details of each and the pluses and minuses as we move through this discussion. So can you be your own registered agent? Yes, you can. That's the short answer. And with a single member LLC, a lot of people feel like, well, what difference does it make? I'll list myself as the registered agent and put down my home address as the business address, as the registered agent address for the company. And you're connecting yourself to that company in a public way. The question is, does it hurt the single member LLC in some way? Does it undermine your asset protection or your limited liability protection? The answer is it shouldn't, right? But in our experience, it's going to be held against you. It makes your company seem less professional, and it makes your company seem like maybe there's not really a lot of company here. Maybe someone who would put down their own name and wouldn't hire a professional to do it for them is sloppy in their record keeping, that there really is sharing of resources between the company and the individual, and therefore you really undermine your limited liability protection. That's one of the potential negatives of a single member LLC. The other thing is you're putting your home address down. You're connecting yourself in that public record to that company. If your company gets sued, you get a process server showing up, delivering a subpoena. Your neighbors are going to see that. Your family's going to see that and know that. And it can be really upsetting, as opposed to a professional where you're the business owner. You understand maybe it's a frivolous lawsuit. It's not a big deal. You're not going to have to really be worried about what impression you give to others. Your professional registered agent will accept that and get it to you without anyone except you knowing. So single member LLC, serving as your own registered agent, really not recommended. I think you need to think long and hard before you make that choice. For partnerships, for LLCs or businesses that have a lot of owners, it can be tempting to name your business address as the registered agent address. That's permitted, just like you can name an individual to be the registered agent. You could also have your business address be the registered agent for the company. That is permitted in most states. The problem with that is that most businesses will move over time. Maybe you start out in a small office, and if you're really nailing it, you may move your business. Then you would need to update the registered agent address with the Secretary of State. It also happens that on the first day when you're forming the company, you don't have an office yet. You're working from home. You would have to put down one of the individual's home addresses as the registered agent for the company. That would mean when you do get an office, you're going to need to switch it. Something you may not even think about down the road. Your professional registered agent, highly unlikely they're going to be changing their address anytime in the near future. The other reason not to put down the business address as the registered agent address is, what if somebody is coming in and delivering a lawsuit to you? That's what the registered agent does. They accept that service of process. They accept that lawsuit. You're in there with a big client and there's a knock on the door and it's someone saying, hey, we're suing your company. Can you sign for this? Not a good look. You just lost a sale from that. Hopefully your company is not being sued frequently, but it's a small price to pay to get the registered agent, the professional registered agent, to avoid the hassles of having to switch the registered agent address as the company grows and adapts, not putting down one of the owner's addresses, as well as avoiding really that inconvenience of an employee or someone you're doing business with knowing the company's being sued. Let's keep that separate. That's something the owners need to know about, not the person sitting at the front desk or that important client. Another option many people choose is their registered agent is their attorney. They'll go to an attorney to set up the company for them, and the attorney will say, I'll be your registered agent. Don't worry about it. It's good and it's bad. I'm a fan of attorneys. As you can imagine, I'm a bit biased, but attorneys may not be really inexpensive when it comes to the registered agent service. They may charge a premium for something that it's fairly basic. It's fairly basic to have someone there who accepts the service process and delivers it to you. And it could be that attorney want to take a different course of action than you do. Or maybe they were the attorney that set up your company for you, but the litigation is about human resources, something of that matter where you need a different attorney to do it. Maybe they don't know you're working with multiple attorneys. Relationship with attorneys change over time. If you have a professional registered agent, you'll be able to make that decision. You'll probably save money, but you'll also be able to make a decision about, okay, do I want to bring this complaint to that specific attorney? Do I need another attorney? Is this something I can handle on my own? You have that option and flexibility. Once you are identifying your attorney as the registered agent, you're pretty much going to be locked in to that attorney handling the matter for you. Give yourself that flexibility and don't choose the attorney to be your registered agent. Even if they're setting up the company for you, tell them, I'd like to use a professional registered agent service and take this off your plate. Talk to your attorneys and really refrain from or try to avoid listing your attorney as your registered agent and choose a professional provider. So we've arrived at the point where the professional registered agent service provider is your best option. Given all the other options available, the weaknesses and the strengths of each of them, choosing a professional registered agent service is something that you now make that decision on. How do I choose? It depends on what services you need. And some registered agents, it's all they do. There's nothing else that registered agent provides. You sign up, there's no portal, there's no way to access your account to know what your status is. They're listed on the Secretary of State website, bare bones pricing and bare bones service. I'm sure you're going to get your service a process. That's what they do. Do you need more than that? Because there's a lot of providers of registered agent services that offer more than that and things that are useful to you. One of the things you need to think about is what other services do you need? Do you need mail services, someone who can accept mail? Because a registered agent is not by default going to accept mail for the company. But maybe you want to, instead of having to have the mailing address be your personal address or go and get a store box or something like that, you want it all in one place. Does your registered agent provide mail service? Then another thing is, what additional services do they offer? Can they do filings for you? Say you want to do a name change. Can they do that? Say you want to form an entity in another state. Can they handle that? Is it going to be a one-stop shop for 50 state registered agent services in one place with one billing method, with one way to access it, one login? So making sure they can handle all of your potential future needs in all of those different states. And then who's standing behind the company? Is the company one that really focuses on the legal side of owning a company? Is it a company that can provide you with referrals to qualified attorneys? Is it a company that is really focused on compliance, not just compliance with the registered agent, but about your business filings or other things like the Corporate Transparency Act or filings with various state agencies? So can this registered agent service provider provide you with everything your company is going to need to grow in an easy way that allows you to focus on your company and its growth, not on these sort of ministerial tasks? At the end of the day, you need to figure out what you need. We know you need registered agent service. What else are you going to need? And if you're not sure what else you're going to need, I suggest finding a registered agent provider that does have a lot of different things available to the clients, to be able to do 50 state filings, 50 state registered agent services, formation in 50 states, additional filings. And that really is focused on compliance and making sure you're getting everything right. As with most things when it comes to businesses, you have flexibility. And so if you've chosen the wrong registered agent, if you put yourself down, and you're like, I don't want this responsibility after hearing some of the downsides, or you've got your attorney and you're concerned about the cost or concerned about needing to work with them if any litigation comes in. Or maybe you've chosen another provider that hasn't provided or doesn't have available all of those things you need. It's easy to change your registered agent. It's something that registered agents will be happy to do for you. A professional registered agent will often have on their website, switch registered agents. It's there clear as day, a low cost on it, and they will do all the paperwork that's required to update your records with the Secretary of State and make sure that anything you are supposed to receive will be able to get to the right place. And so switching is easy. Don't feel like it's a mistake you've made. You realize your mistake now and you're not going to fix it. Take the step to get the right registered agent for you by doing a registered agent switch to a professional provider like our company.
Your registered agent keeps your business legally compliant, but there's another layer of protection that we need to discuss, and it's often overlooked, and that's your personal privacy. Many business owners don't realize that by forming an LLC, they could be exposing themselves and their personal information to the public. Let's explore how you can shield your personal information when setting up your LLC.